Welcome to another episode of Good Cooking, and today we're making a delightful Christmas dish, a pork ragu. So you got to start this dish a little bit early in the day, and because of that, you should really start it with a Bloody Mary, Ben. Huh? Look at this. Unbelievable. We got a little horseradish in there. I got the blue cheese olives. This is the only way to cook, people. If you're not drinking, the dish is gonna suck. So you gotta make sure you get a nice Bloody Mary. Maybe you make yourself a mimosa, whatever you wanna do. Get tanked is what I'm trying to say. Get plastered before those people you invited come over, and you'll have a hell of a day. So let's take a little sip. So to make your pork ragu, what you want is a pork shoulder. You should go to a nice reputable butcher. They'll trim it up for you. You want some of that fat trimmed off of it. Since it's a boneless, they tie it up and it holds its shape nice in the slow cooking process. And you're gonna salt and pepper it on all four sides, and then we're gonna sear it right in our pan. Well, we're starting with one of our good friends here, Bono. Olive oil, delicious. So I'm just gonna coat the bottom of the pan. You're gonna put your stove top on high. You're gonna get that hot. I got a new gadget, Ben. Ben, do I have a new gadget? I have a meat fork.
Wow.
Only took 7 years for me to purchase this off of Amazon. I was saving up, it was $8. Okay? And you can't put, I don't think you can put this in the dishwasher. Lindsay said to me the other day, don't put that in the dishwasher. I said, I know. She goes, it's gonna rust. I said, what does it matter? Everybody's got their tetanus shot. You think I care? I don't. Woo! And we're gonna sear it on all four sides for about 2.5 minutes.
Now, what inspired you to make this dish?
My grandmother used to make this when I was a kid. She used to put it over rice though, which is still delicious. Now, that's actually a great, this is about a 3.5 pound pork shoulder. I like getting a little extra because it sits in the fridge. The day after, it absorbs more of the flavors. And then you can put it over rice. You can eat it on its own. Am I gonna say that it's bad with eggs? I'm not. And that's why I'm doing this. I would also suggest taking this out an hour to an hour and 20 minutes out of the fridge before you start doing this. Because you just want it to cook nice and even. I like to bring all the meats to room temperature. The thing that I like about it is if you're having people over the house on Christmas Eve, Christmas for that matter, this is something that you can just let slow cook, and then you can go and make other dishes. And that way, 5 o'clock rolls around or 3 o'clock when people roll in, whatever it is, you got a lot of nice things going on. Shout out to our good sponsors over there at Huntington Meats. We got the best provisions around here in the greater Los Angeles area. Looking nice.
Is there such thing as a great Los Angeles area?
Let me try my meat fork. So I like to coat the bottom of the Dutch oven with a little bit of olive oil, but you also got to remember you got a lot of fat in here, and that's gonna give you a nice oil as well. So let's see, nice. That's what we're looking for.
If you had to rank beef, chicken, and pork, what would the order be?
Well, beef is going first, and then as much as I love chicken, man, do I love a pork. Because all the things you get out of it. Pork chops, prosciutto, oh God, hot dogs. It's the best.
How did prosciutto and hot dogs go back to back?
Why not? Listen, a pork hot dog with mustard, a little relish, some sauteed onions or fresh onion. Oh, come on.
Pork's my number one now.
Yeah. So once you got it seared on all four sides, or 6, or whatever you want to call it at this point, see, you got that nice little sear on there. Take it out. Now, we got our onions, celery, and carrots. So we're gonna throw that right in there. You can call it mirepoix. Some people call it sofrito. I call it onions, carrots, and celery. You're gonna let that go for about 5 minutes. Let it get a little bit tender. I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of salt. I like to season everything, because why not? You need seasoning and everything. And you're gonna keep your stovetop somewhere between low and medium for this. God, I'm enjoying the shit out of this Bloody Mary.
Yeah? Have you ever not enjoyed the shit of a Bloody Mary?
I used to taste this in 6th grade in a thermos. My mom used to wrap the little blue cheese olives on the side, put it in a Ziploc with a smiley face that said gaga. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but look how nicely I tied up my herbs, or as I would call them, herbs. You hang this over your doorway,
Yeah.
and you and Chloe can kiss each other every time you come out in the morning. So we call them mistletoe herbs. See that right there, Ben? We're gonna deglaze the pan. That's all your flavor right there. We're gonna get that up nice. We're gonna hit it with a little red wine. Got about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, finely minced. I'm going in. You're gonna do that for another 1.5 minutes. Get it maybe a little bit golden. Get ready. Tomato paste. All the measurements will be in the description. Don't worry about it, okay? So don't go, well, how much is he adding? This is what I'm adding. So what you want to do, the smell, the aroma, Ben, the aroma. So just gonna mix this all together. Got a little dry red wine here. Just bring it to a simmer. See how it's thickening like that? And we deglaze, look at that. We deglaze the whole bottom of the pan. All of that stuff, all of that flavor has now been incorporated in there. All right, so we got our San Marzano tomatoes. I crushed these with my hands. I got a little oregano, crushed red pepper. Let's spice it up a bit. Now listen, I'm gonna put my pork shoulder back in here now. So I got more of the fatty part up top, and I'm going to insert it into my sauce with the fat on top. As this cooks, that fat is gonna continue to drip. See the fat there and whatnot? It's gonna drip down, keeping that nice and moist in there. So you want as much as the fat on your pork shoulder to be facing up once you put it in the oven. Gotta take our bay leaf. Does anybody know what bay leaf does? Any ladies, do we know? Have we done any research?
No research.
Does absolutely nothing. We're putting it in. And then we got a little rosemary and thyme. I tie it up, and the reason why I tie it up here is because I don't want any of these little tiny branches getting loose, and then it's in the sauce, and then it gets into your pasta, and you're like, what's that? It's a branch. No good. We tie it up like a hostage. Boop. Now that this is done, you're gonna cover it with your lid, and we're going in the oven. Again, I got about a 3.5 pound pork shoulder here. I'm gonna go 3.5, 4 hours. And then once that's done, you're gonna see, we're gonna pull it out. It's gonna be falling apart. We're gonna shred it back in the sauce, and then we're gonna make our pasta. And you got yourself a pork ragu.
Christmas!
Christmas. My Dutch oven is, I love it for, I make soups in it, I make this kind of stuff. It was given to me by Martha Stewart right after she got out of jail for insider trading, which I respect her for. She got a tip. What's the big deal? She got a tip. Somebody was like, listen, the company's tanking, and she's like, I'm selling. Once the pork is done, you're gonna put it on your cutting board and you're gonna shred it apart. Then you're gonna put it back in your pot, mix it around with your sauce. While that's going on, you got your pasta boiling away. We use a little pappardelle because why not? It's a really nice pasta for the pork ragu. While your pasta's boiling, you're gonna take a little bit of the pork ragu and put it into your pan. Put it on a low heat. Then once your pasta is al dente, you're gonna start putting the pasta into that pan and you're gonna start to toss it. Once you're done with that, grate a little cheese, hit it with a little parsley for garnish, serve it up, and you're gonna have a lot of happy people. If you grew up in an Italian household, you know the Feast of the Seven Fishes is a tradition on Christmas Eve. And it's a lot of work. And you start saying to yourself, man, I got these same people coming over tomorrow on Christmas Day. What am I gonna make? I got you covered. Why don't you do a nice slow-cooked pork shoulder and make a pork ragu? Then you can sit around, make fun of each other while Uncle Frank gets tanked on that couch that's covered in plastic because your grandmother's had it that way for the last 30 years. This dish is a delight, and it's not that hard to do. If you want this recipe, it's in the description below. And from our house to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate, and bon appetit. So to make your pork ragu, you got to get yourself a pork shoulder. I'll look at you when I want to. Stop enough already with the point into the camera. I got a friend. I'm all alone. I want to talk to somebody. Stop bullying me already.